Good evening. My name is Alan Cook. I'm the proud owner of the Me Dion painting, in which the world has been talking about for over a year, at least. Time does fly, and I'm going to continue on my efforts here to try to tell the world exactly the beauty of what I just found tonight. The skull is right in front of you, in which you see it so happens to have all these particular little lines and images that you will end up seeing pretty hard. It's going to be pretty kind of hard, but almost all of Leonardo da Vinci's work is hard to try to decipher. If you actually look, and you will see how this is a skull here, and then when I move it to go larger for you to see better, the skull is even larger, goes on down even more, and that's what he does. He makes these skulls over and over and over again too. He's a copy machine. It's in my YouTubes. Now this, I was just playing around wondering how to get some pull out of it, and I know it doesn't look like much, but there's an awful lot of blessing here. I wouldn't be doing this tube. And you know, God's always led me in the right line. But if you see again what these lines are, they're going to match up with these lines. So when you put it on up here and you follow these, you will see I got it offset just a hair, I do believe. Or did it move again for me? Because I did have, let's see, what shifting? Oh, I know what it was. I shifted it for the reason is if you see this line here, it matches up here when I move it. You can see his hat. When you shift it on down, you can see his hat moving downward because his paintings move. We talked about that. So if you're following my YouTubes, you understand what I'm talking about. I'm hoping you understand what I'm talking about now. But if you see these little itty bitty lightness in here and it runs across, that's this right here. And then you can see how this goes here. You can see how this goes here. And that's why it continues in these lines. See these lines? So these lines are going everywhere. That's because he moves up and down. He moves sideways. He moves all the way around. But if you actually see, when you lay it in here and you back this right into the right spot that I get an opportunity to prove my point, the pleat on his shirt matches, watch, matches 100%. Now I'm going to pull it. You see? It's just, it's right there, 100%. Now I put it right on back. And here's something else. I have to shift this camera for you, okay? So give me a second. I only got two hands, so God's given me, but that's good. Let me see if I can shift it down here. Let me show you something else. While that matched, I'll put it back up into the match where you can't see it, but I want to show you what's below. Okay, now it matches. Okay. But remember, it moves. So if you pay attention, you can see how some of these items of these darknesses fit in some of the areas, like the hat. This is the hat, which is the feather of the hat. Okay. But here comes the interesting part. If you see the bottom of her dress, these fit into this tracks. Watch. Boom. 100%. There's other things in here that I'm going to put in my other YouTubes that I'm going to pull because my image is in the skull. Absolutely. And if I pull this down out of the way, let's do it without my image. And I'll show you. You see how this has a face right in here in blue? And then if you just shift it back, there's a face in blue. And then this guy is a little face with another woman right here, this tiny little thing. And if you follow these little lines, this is the legs that run. His legs run off the sheet. It also runs within the sheet. If you see the one that is called Last Supper, and you'll see the pointing lady, you'll find that my pointing lady, which is his pointing lady, walks clear across the Last Supper. And it's imperfect. She shifts her hips and she blinks her eyes. So let's pretend that it's not even in the skull. And you can actually take my image and you can look, it fit perfect. It fits perfect within his cut lines. Here's the line running this way. See? Now I'm going to hold it right there. And there's the line fitting perfectly. He was absolutely an ism. Okay? An absolute, whoops. That was a bad boy of me, huh? Okay. Let me put that back and let me shift this that way. There. I'm sorry. Okay. Now if you take a look at this shift here, how this line right here, I'm doing it again. My goodness gracious. The unit needs to be shifted up. Look at that. Double bang. Okay. If you see right here, wow. Boy, I really tilted this, didn't I? 3 strikes. Okay. Oh boy. Almost have to stop this YouTube, but I'm not. I'm going to show you that I don't try to alter. Okay, there we go. I don't try to alter a thing. We're going to be paying attention to this cut doily, and we're just going to pull that up, and you can see that cut doily right here in the blue of the background of the Mona. You pull this down, you see that? That is an angle cut. The same angle cut as this. Now, without even looking at this, we're going to put this right here. Okay. If you actually look at this cut and you start looking around here, you'll see these other cuts. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to shrink this down, pull this up. Going to be real hard to see. Okay, and just give you a quick general. If you see these angles and these items, that's how they run. See how they run? They run. Now, again, he can take this and he can turn it any way, because what he did was a dot matrix type deal. It's like if you put 1 billion dots in a complete swirling circle, and then you put it also in a triangle, and then you also put it in an egg shape and a kidney shape and circle, obviously, and each circle, remember, equals an 8, and 8 stands for infinity, and when you open up his circles, they're a heart, and so everything he's painting is infinity love. And that's in my YouTube also. And I know I deviated just a little bit from the main point, but I think you're kind of understanding where I'm coming from. So what I'm trying to tell you, please understand that this man is tricky. He's great. I found one of his finds, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull it some more. I'm going to pay attention to the skull. The skull is undisputed. It cannot be beaten. I'll pull this right here so you see that this is the Mona Lisa. Okay? Mona Lisa. Okay? And this painting right here is me, Dion, as you can see. That's one of the x-rays, and I'll show you what the main painting is so you understand. And it's this one right here. And we're going to pull that up for you to see that I am not hiding anything. And that's it. That is the Me Dion, which is the older, more mature Mona Lisa. And the other Mona Lisa, which is this particular one, is the younger Mona Lisa, which so happens to be in her teens. My painting, which so happens to be this one, is his diary. He made this painting into pixels smaller, and each time you open up these pixels, which is smaller than pixels of his works, is his hidden codes. They don't understand that I spent 10 hours a day for 10 solid weeks staring at a blob looking like a monkey through paint on the wall and getting nowhere. And then I just said, oh, I'm just about to go crazy here, can't find out what's going on. And his M's are the craziest M's you ever did see. And when each time you open it up, it changes in distance and it changes in look. Imagine a marble close up. Okay? Imagine you putting it across the street into the side of the street. It's going to look much smaller. Okay? Then close up. Imagine under a microscope. How big and beautiful and looking like the moon. Each time you see something in distance, it changes dramatically. Anytime you see it in angle with light, it changes dramatically. Anytime you chip it and you look within the crevices, it changes dramatically. So those are called builds when it goes into high and lows. In my YouTubes, you will learn these things that I have talked about. And if I had hours and hours and hours just to talk about his depth, I would be more than happy to do so. But the YouTubes in which that come out give you a general just to pacify you guys and girls and children and others of your dogs and cats of great. I got my dogs. They seem to they seem to follow me like they're kids. Anyway, that's my kids. And but what I'm trying to say is that he has the most hidden art that looks like blob, looks like nothing, that is the most scientific, hardest code to try to break, that after you see it and stare at it for 15 minutes of one little microdot, you'll get a partial read out of some of his works. And they're the same. They're the same in the Mona, and they're the same in Medion. For me to continue with this, I need higher equipment, and or I need some assistance, because you just step over one hair distance and the whole image changes. You change one distance in the sight of the distance itself, and the item changes from an M to an R, or from an R into an O, or from an O into a heart. And so that's how come he can write out of one item the size of a pixel easy a whole paragraph, because that one item changes that one letter in every time you open and close it in height and distance. I think I might have gotten you confused, but if you took binoculars and you looked, you see far away. You flip it around, there you are. You're close, much, much further away, in a sense. So you see close up with binoculars, you see far away when you flip them. Okay, so I'm getting ahead of myself on this YouTube, and I apologize. So I want to say, hey, God bless the whole world, the universe, and the heavens, and maybe I'll get it together for you a little bit better on the understanding, and just get into one detail and get it broken up. But it would take hours to get into his little shadows and depths and builds and chemistry, and we'd just be staring for me instead of showing, because what you need is something as big as a billboard for a microdot for this man. God bless the whole world, the universe, and the heavens. Again, amen.